Hi, everyone. This is Brian with Can Do MS, and I'm thrilled to be joined by Casey Russell. And Casey is the arts and entertainment editor for the Vail Daily, who's our hometown newspaper. So it's great to have someone in the community join us to talk a little bit about arts and entertainment and how they kind of fit into living during this outbreak and why that's so important in our lives right now. So. Casey, let me just start to ask you from your perspective, why do you think arts and entertainment, their place in our lives are so particularly important right now?
Yeah, well, I think that I spend most of my waking life engaging with some sort of arts entertainment, whether it be like for work or personal. It's just a huge part of my life that I couldn't imagine life without it. So I think now that we have so much free time, so much time that we're not spending, out grocery shopping for hours on end or like at the bar with friends, I think it's even more important to engage with those things now because connecting with characters, connecting with stories, connecting with ideas, whatever medium it's in, whether it's like Parks and Rec or it's like high, I don't know, high culture or something or other, we're connecting with that on a human level. And it does two things. One, it allows us to kind of disconnect from reality and like all the things that are constantly going through our head. And two, it provides that like serotonin relief of escape. And I think that that's kind of something that everyone's kind of looking to do right now because times are bleak. So I think it's really important to just kind of engage with that in a healthy way that helps you kind of process all the things that are going on in your daily life without, getting too like down in the dumps about it.
Absolutely. And so much with entertainment is kind of communal and going out with your friends or in the community. So how do you think now that so many of us are quarantined and isolated, how can we still access great sources of arts entertainment that can enrich our lives?
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of resources out there. I mean, technology is having a huge moment right now. Like, this is also a really great time to kind of explore other different passions you may have. Like, for example, one thing that I'm doing right now is Fender has, they put a free trial on their learn to play guitar classes. It's called Fender Play. So you can just like go on, learn how to play guitar for 3 months. And if you like it and you haven't like exhausted all of the like possibilities in there, you can keep going and maybe pay for it or what have you. So I think it's just kind of important to like find those little niches that resonate with you just because there is so much, you can't do everything. So find those little things and just really like stick with it, practice every day, do something that just kind of makes you happy. And there's resources to do it like by yourself, or you could do like some sort of hangout, like a Zoom happy hour or FaceTime with your family friends and like play a game, something like that. So there's tons of options.
That's great. And a lot of parents out there, do you have any sort of tips or resources about, how this can be a good opportunity to bring families together? Are there good family entertainment options out there?
Alpine Arts Center is starting to do online classes either
Yeah.
next week or this week. They have portable art kits, so there's plenty of stuff you can do with your kids. You might have to get a little bit creative because maybe after a while they'll get sick of all of your like activities, but there's plenty of options. So.
And so, with your demographic, you mentioned Google Hangouts. Any other tips on how to still stay connected socially, even though maybe we are staying in our houses?
Yeah. Well, personally, right now, I'm on this Discord, which is like this. It's like an online version of Slack slash messaging where you can create a group and then everyone talks online. Sometimes, like a lot of gamers use it, but I am using it to talk about an old season of Survivor with a bunch of like random acquaintances from the internet. Okay. So yeah, so that's really fun because it's like kind of making new friends, but also you don't really know what they look like. So I mean, just take the little internet thing with a bit of caution. I know one of the people that does it. So um,
Uh,
yeah. So that's cool. I know a lot of people are using this app called oh my gosh, I think it's called House Party. Pretty sure it's called House Party, but you can sign up and like be friends with your friends and then drink at the same time via like video chat, like play games, and you'll get notifications when one of your friends has like checked in and started drinking or something. So yeah, there's some stuff.
that's great. So you mentioned Survivor. Are you kind of a binge TV watcher? Do you like to bang out a whole series or season, or do you like to spread it out?
I think it depends on the show for me. I mean, I've seen every season of Survivor, some of them multiple times, so it's okay with this like Survivor rewatch to like just watch one episode and like be satisfied with it. But like something like Black Mirror or The Twilight Zone, for example, I have to be like in the right mood to watch those, or like any drama really, because I like to have fun. So I have to be like in the right mood, and then sometimes an episode hits too hard, and I'm like, all right, gotta switch. So I can usually binge sitcoms pretty easily, but sometimes dramas I like to space them out a little bit.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of online concerts recently. Do you
Yeah.
recommend those?
Yeah. I think I recommend them if you're a big fan of the artist. Like, for example, I'm a huge Death Cab for Cutie fan, and for the past 2 weeks, the main guy in it, Ben Gibbard, has been doing like this series called Live from Home, where he just kind of like sits in his home studio and broadcasts him playing guitar. And those are cool because it was just really cool to kind of see him play these songs that are like really old in his discography, and he's probably not playing them when he's actually on the road. And he took a lot of like artist requests and or not artist requests. He took a lot of song requests, so that was really cool. So yeah, recommend, but I would also kind of like maybe only do it if you're really into the artist, and also like the sound quality is not super great. So yeah.
And so, the phrase "new normal" I think has been thrown a lot during
Yeah.
this break and this crisis. Do you think the sort of all these new online ways to get our entertainment is that going to replace sort of going to a concert or more of the in person, or do you think this is going to be just sort of a blip on the radar and we'll go back to the way it was?
Yes and no. I don't think it's going to be a blip on the radar. I think it's going to be something that kind of happens for a while. I mean, we're already seeing it in Vail a little bit. I think some of the arts organizations are a little bit like, what should we do about their summer seasons, because we're not exactly sure how long the quarantine is going to last. I know it's been scheduled at least until April 30th, but it could be longer. And GoPro Mountain Games has been postponed to August, which is like a big event here too. So I don't think it's going to be a blip, but I don't think, I mean, you can never like watching Ben Gibbard play in his home studio, spending 10 minutes talking about the REM t-shirt that's a exact replica of the one he had when he was 15. Like it wouldn't ever be the same as like standing in a crowd with a bunch of people who also love Ben Gibbard and like watching him physically talk about it, because you're missing that like collective energy. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go to a concert and you feel like everyone is on the exact same wavelength. But if you look in the comments of this live stream, it's like some of it's like people are yelling like play Grapevine Fires, and then this other guy is like, yo dude, like you gotta stop spamming this guy, like seriously. It's just like everyone's kind of on like the same page but different pages in a way. I don't think you could ever replace the experience of going to an event and like being there with everyone. And so I hope they come back soon because I miss them.
We'll appreciate it even more when it comes
Yes,
back.
absolutely.
So my last question for you, so you mentioned a lot of different forms of entertainment on the screen, and there's definitely, do you ever get concerned about like too much screen time, and kind of how do you manage that?
Yeah, so I am usually not the type of person who's very into routines. I think they're boring and I think they kind of stifle you creatively. There, I said it. But I think a routine really helps me kind of like plan out certain times of my day where I'm not on a screen. Like on a typical day, I'll work in the morning and then after lunch, I'll try to do something that's not on a screen. So, for example, I'll do like those Fender Play things and be kind of on and off my email, checking and handling stuff then. And then I usually work out somewhere around like 4:35, and that I sometimes I have like an app going too, but I usually try to keep it like off to the side and just use it for like visual cues rather than being like very focused on like what the screen is telling me to do. Um, and I try to read at least like 20 pages or so a day. So it's definitely possible, but I think you have to kind of like pre-plan a little bit for it and then also kind of be cognizant of how much time you are spending online. Like for example, I have time limits set up for my Instagram app. I don't really follow them much anymore. But at least, having them there is like a reminder for me. And then I just straight up deleted Twitter and Facebook off my phone because, like, what are you going to really gain from that? Like, if you want the news, here's my pro tip. If you need the news, download like the New York Times app, the Washington Post app, and CNN or something like that, or whatever news outlet you like, and turn on the push notifications for them. But turn your phone on do not disturb. So you can see the news, but it's not like constantly hitting you in the face. Like no one's life is going to be like drastically changed by the fact that they somehow found out that, oh yeah, like we're going to be quarantined until April 30th. So I think it's just like take it all in steps.
Absolutely. You mentioned reading. Any good book recommendations on your radar now?
Yeah, well, I'm a big fan of the classics because you can get them for free on e-readers in the public domain and, free stuff. Obviously, it's great. Um, um, but right now, finally, 8 years late, I am reading J.K. Rowling's adult book, The Casual Vacancy. It has the lyrics to Umbrella by Rihanna printed in it at like at least 6 times. And every time I read it, I laugh because it's just like so funny. I don't know what it is that makes it so funny for me, but it's great. Um, so I'm reading that. I've got a whole bunch of random books, I guess, that I'm looking to read. But I do write a book club column every month. We won't have an April or May edition, unfortunately, but they're out there. So if people want to read those, then they can search like Casey Russell Vail Daily Book Club, and they'll come up.
Yeah, check out Casey on VailDaily.com. Casey, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your passion for the arts and talking about why that's so important in our lives, especially right now. So thank you so much for joining us. Casey Russell from the Vail Daily.